Cold rain slams against thousands of Allied ships moving through darkness. Inside crowded landing craft, American, British, and Canadian soldiers sit silently. Some grip rifles. Others stare at photographs from home. Ahead of them lies Normandy. Behind them lies England. For many, there will be no return journey. At the same moment, German commanders along the French coast remain surprisingly calm. The weather is terrible. Strong winds churn the sea. Heavy clouds cover the sky. Most German officers believe no invasion could happen under such conditions. That confidence is exactly what the Allies wanted. For months, Allied intelligence has convinced Germany that the real invasion will come at Pas de Calais. Fake tanks, fake radio traffic, fake armies. Everything points away from Normandy. Germany believes the lie. Just after midnight, hundreds of transport aircraft cross the French coast. Inside them are thousands of Allied paratroopers. Green lights flash. Men jump. Parachutes fill the night sky. Many land far from their objectives. Units become scattered. But the confusion actually helps. German headquarters receives reports from everywhere. Enemy troops near bridges, enemy troops near roads, enemy troops near villages. No one understands what is happening. And while Germany struggles to make sense of the chaos, the largest invasion fleet in history moves steadily toward Normandy. By dawn, German observers stare toward the sea in disbelief. The horizon has disappeared beneath thousands of Allied ships. D-Day has begun. As Allied warships open fire, the Normandy coastline erupts. Massive naval shells crash into bunkers and artillery positions. Smoke rises across the beaches. Then the landing craft arrive. At Omaha Beach, American soldiers face a nightmare. German machine guns open fire immediately. Bullets tear through the water. Landing craft become death traps. Many soldiers are killed before reaching shore. The famous MG-42 machine gun proves devastating. Its incredible rate of fire cuts down wave after wave of attackers. German defenders fight fiercely. Many bunkers continue firing despite heavy bombardment. For a few critical hours, it appears the invasion could fail. But while German soldiers are fighting effectively, Germany's leadership is facing a different problem: confusion. Reports arrive from every direction. Some commanders still believe Normandy is only a diversion. Others wait for orders. Critical decisions are delayed. Germany's powerful panzer divisions remain inactive. Why? Because Adolf Hitler has not yet authorized their movement. And Hitler is asleep. Hours pass. The Allies continue landing. More troops arrive. More tanks arrive. More supplies arrive. Every minute strengthens the invasion. By the time Germany begins releasing its armored reserves, valuable time has already been lost. Time that can never be recovered? German tanks eventually begin moving toward Normandy. But now they face another enemy: Allied air power. Fighter bombers patrol roads constantly. Bridges are destroyed. Convoys are attacked. Fuel trucks burn! Every movement becomes dangerous. German forces are delayed again and again. Meanwhile, Allied troops continue expanding their beachheads. Separate landing zones begin connecting together. The invasion force grows larger every hour. This is where many historians, including weapons expert Jonathan Ferguson, make an important point. Germany did not fail because it lacked good weapons. Its soldiers had excellent equipment. The MG-42 was deadly. The Panther and Tiger tanks were among the most feared armored vehicles of the war. German artillery remained highly effective. The problem was not the weapons. The problem was the system. The Allies controlled the sea. The Allies controlled the air. The Allies communicated faster. And most importantly, the Allies controlled the tempo of the battle. Germany spent D-Day reacting instead of acting. Every delay helped the invasion. Every hesitation strengthened the beachhead. Every lost hour moved Germany closer to defeat. Field Marshal Rommel had warned that the Allies must be stopped on the beaches. Once they established themselves inland, Germany would struggle to throw them back. He was right. By the end of June, the Allies had secured Normandy. By August, Paris was liberated. Less than a year later, Nazi Germany surrendered. So why did Germany fail on D-Day? Not because its soldiers lacked courage, not because its weapons were weak, but because when the most important battle of the war began, Germany's command system moved too slowly. And in war, sometimes a few lost hours are enough to change history forever. The invasion has survived its first day. That alone is a disaster for Germany. American forces continue pushing inland from Omaha and Utah beaches. British troops advance toward Caen. Canadian units secure critical positions along the coast. Every hour, more men and equipment arrive from England. German commanders know exactly what this means. If the Allies are not driven back now, they may never be driven back at all. Throughout Normandy, German armored units begin moving toward the front. Panzer IVs rumble along narrow roads. Panther tanks emerge from forests. Mechanized infantry follows behind trucks and half-tracks. On paper, these forces are powerful. Many commanders believe they can still crush the beachhead. But there is a problem. Actually, several problems. The first appears in the sky. Allied fighter bombers patrol constantly overhead. Typhoons, P-47 Thunderbolts, Spitfires, Mustangs. Whenever German columns are spotted, attacks follow. Bombs fall. Rockets strike. Vehicles burn along roadsides. Entire movements are delayed. Some never reach the battlefield at all. German officers quickly learn a harsh reality. Moving during daylight has become almost impossible, and every delay gives the Allies more time, more supplies, more reinforcements, more strength. The counterattack Germany desperately needs is slowly falling apart before it even begins. As the battle continues, one fact becomes impossible to ignore. Germany still possesses dangerous soldiers. Germany still possesses effective weapons. But Germany no longer controls the battle. The Allies do. For years, German victories had relied on speed, rapid decisions, rapid attacks, rapid movement. Now the situation is reversed. German commanders react. The Allies act. German forces respond. The Allies dictate events. This difference changes everything. Even Jonathan Ferguson points out that many German weapons on D-Day were extremely capable. The MG-42 machine gun remained one of the deadliest weapons of the war. German artillery was highly effective. Panther tanks could destroy Allied armor at long range. But great weapons cannot compensate for poor timing, and they cannot recover lost opportunities. The most important opportunity was lost on the morning of June 6th, when confusion delayed German decisions, when reserves remained inactive, when commanders waited for authorization, when precious hours slipped away. Those lost hours allowed Allied troops to establish themselves in Normandy. Once that happened, Germany faced an enemy with overwhelming advantages. Control of the sea, control of the air, superior logistics, and an endless flow of reinforcements. By August, Paris would be liberated. Less than a year later, Nazi Germany would surrender. The reason Germany failed on D-Day was not a lack of courage. It was not a lack of weapons. It was a failure of command, coordination, and timing. The Atlantic Wall could delay the invasion. German soldiers could inflict terrible casualties. But neither could change one simple fact. On June 6, 1944, Germany reacted too slowly. And those few lost hours changed the course of World War II forever. June 8, 15, 1944, Normandy, France. The battle Germany hoped to stop on the beaches is now spreading inland. Along the coast, Allied engineers work day and night. Bulldozers push through sand. Trucks unload ammunition. Crates of fuel, food, and medical supplies pile up across newly secured beachheads. What had been landing zones only days earlier are rapidly becoming permanent bases. German reconnaissance pilots who managed to fly over Normandy report an alarming sight. The beaches are overflowing. Tanks, artillery, thousands of vehicles, endless columns of men. The invasion force is no longer vulnerable. It is growing stronger every hour. At Omaha Beach, where casualties were among the highest on D-Day, fresh American divisions continue arriving. British and Canadian forces push deeper inland despite fierce resistance. Entire villages become battlegrounds. Machine guns rattle from stone buildings. Mortar rounds explode in narrow streets. Snipers hide among church towers. Yet despite the fighting, the Allied advance never fully stops. German commanders begin realizing something deeply troubling. The Allies are replacing losses faster than Germany can inflict them. Every destroyed vehicle seems to be replaced by another. Every exhausted unit is reinforced by fresh troops arriving from England. The sheer scale of Allied logistics becomes overwhelming, and with every passing day, the possibility of driving the Allies back into the sea becomes smaller. For Germany, time is running out. Late June 1944, Normandy front. Weeks after D-Day, the outcome is becoming clear. The German army is still fighting, still resisting, still dangerous, but the initiative has been lost. Allied aircraft dominate the skies. Allied artillery pounds defensive positions. Allied supply lines continue expanding. The balance of power is shifting permanently. Field Marshal Rommel tours the front and sees the reality for himself. Burned-out vehicles line the roads. Cratered fields stretch across the countryside. German units are increasingly exhausted. Many have been fighting almost continuously since the invasion began. Meanwhile, Allied forces continue growing stronger. For the average German soldier, the war feels different now. Not because they have stopped fighting, but because victory is becoming harder to imagine. Normandy has opened a door Germany cannot close. Soon the Allies will break out of the beachhead. Soon Paris will be liberated. Soon the fighting will move toward Germany itself. The consequences of D-Day are now impossible to reverse. Historians would later debate many factors behind Germany's defeat. The weather, the deception campaign, Hitler's delayed decisions, the Panzer reserves. All of them mattered, but together they created one result. The Allies gained a foothold in France, and once that foothold existed, Germany faced the combined industrial power of America, Britain and Canada directly on the continent. From that moment forward, the war's outcome became increasingly inevitable. The beaches of Normandy were not just the site of an invasion. They were the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany,